Another thing to think about when traveling in Europe is personal security. The threat of terrorism isn't something we want to consider, but nonetheless the threat is real and it's something we have to guard against. There are a lot of things you can do to guard against terrorism without spoiling your summer fun. Terrorism. Just the word is enough to catch your attention. Seeing the results of a terrorist action can make you think twice about your own personal safety. But when just the fear of terrorist activity is enough to make you change the way you act, the terrorist has done his job. There are steps you can take to lessen your vulnerability and to increase your personal security. You can start by getting some personal security training sponsored by your base's physical security department. There you can learn the basics about what you can do to increase your awareness of and resistance to terrorist actions.
We can put out the information, we can arm people with the information that they need to have an uneventful trip, or if things do go wrong, if they happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, then we can also give them the tools that they need to survive the hostile detention environment, if it should come to that.
As an American service member traveling or working in Europe, it's possible that you could be the target of terrorists.
It's very important to realize that as Americans in a foreign country, we look different. We stand out in a group. Americans as a group tend to love to talk in public. If we're in a public area, we're just going to run our mouths, and we do stand out as a result. Part of it is also the way we dress. It is admittedly different. And it's very hard to assimilate, especially for the newcomer here. And so because of that, we do attract some level of interest, much of it good. Overwhelmingly, the people here are very happy to see us. But there are some factions that don't care to have Americans here and can use the presence of Americans or other foreigners to make that political statement and to cause harm or cause embarrassment to not only the host country, but the United States as well.
It's also important to realize that just blending in with your surroundings isn't the whole answer. Understanding what's going on around you can help you avoid trouble before it starts.
Things can happen to Americans, not because we're Americans, but because we are foreigners here and we don't always understand the way things are in a foreign country, or we may not be cognizant of the different threats in a given area.
The U.S. Antiterrorism Alert Center can help you stay on top of the threat level in any area you might be traveling to. The center publishes a weekly list of areas with medium, high, and critical threat assessments. Your command security officer can tell you where to find answers to any questions you might have.
If you're going on travel, if you're going about your day-to-day business, and you just see something that doesn't feel right, doesn't seem right, you got the hairs in the back of your neck working for you, it's time to get that training if you haven't already had it. And you need to talk to the chain of command to make sure that training is made available so that you do have the information that you need to have a safe passage throughout your travels in Europe.
And just as education is the key to protection, knowing exactly what's going on in the area you're traveling to can also ease your mind about going there.
Well, there's no reason to stay at home because of a real or perceived threat unless an actual threat con is issued, and that hasn't been done in a very long time.
But perhaps the biggest point to be made is that your resistance to a terrorist threat starts with your own mindset.
It's an attitude, first of all. You have to have the understanding, you have to have the appreciation that personal protection is everybody's own responsibility. There's only so much that security departments can put out. Whether or not it's received properly by the end user, that's strictly up to him or up to her.
See y'all later. Y'all have a good time.
That's it.